It's your boy Young Love. I give him that thing. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Banya doll, Banaban. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Banya doll, Banaban. Walk on your leg. Kankaro water no watching. Oga leg leg gear. Wow, very leg. Panda with ya punchy America. Banya doll, Bano. Chingatonga Pandon could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda Jiro, what ya be doll venting. Stand up punchy America, Banji doll, Banaban, Pancha leg stand up punchy America, Banji doll, Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankaro, what on the watching, Oga leg, gear, wow, very leg, Panda with ya, punchy America, Panya Dwalabano, Chingatongo Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Papu Panda Jiro, what ya be, Dwalabanting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are tuning in. Welcome to Lagos State Media today. Here's Sunday in Australia, 20th of March, 2022. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you in this very important discussion about Jonglei Canal resumption. So, guest speakers, we will be having Ustaz Nhial and Ustaz David Nhial, and my co-host and colleagues, General Secretary Majok Makur Malak, and also Secretary of Finance and Coordinator Abraham Madin Majak. We will take you through this discussion. For those who are connected through Clubhouse, you can just get your question ready after we give floor to our guest speakers. So before we kick in, I would like to give a 1 minute chance to each of you to greet our audience. I start with my office, General Secretary. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chairman Isaac Chan, the coordinator, which is Finance Secretary, Abraham Majak, and our key speakers of tonight discussions or this morning discussion, depends wherever you tune in. I greet you all and I salute you and welcome you to Lagos State Media Platform and to all our viewers across the globe. You are welcome to hear your thoughts and listen to the speakers. These speakers are actually so wealthy with the knowledge in regard to Jonglei Canal, and this is one of the big projects South Sudan is actually embarking on. You are all welcome and pose your questions later during the discussion. Thank you so much. I leave it back to Chairman.
Thank you so much, General Secretary Majok Malak. Straight to Abraham Madid. It's your turn.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and General Secretary and our guests. Let me leave that quietly. Thank you. I welcome our guests, Ustaz Meding, Nhial, and Ustaz David. Nhial, welcome to Lake State Media. And welcome to those of you who are watching in Clubhouse and YouTube and Facebook. This is the good discussion. We just want you all the viewers, please, if you have a question later on, just write your question in our comment site, and then we'll bring it up. So thank you. Your microphone back to Isaac.
Thank you so much, Abraham. Ustaz Mading Nhial, the floor is yours. I yield microphone to you to greet our audience.
Okay, thank you, the hosts, Lake State Media, Madid and Majog and Isaac, and also to my colleague David, who is today with us here. Also, I would like to extend my greetings to all audience and viewers and listeners wherever they are, in Clubhouse or in YouTube, using different media platforms. And also, I'm happy to be here today in Australia time, and also to be part of this very, very vital and important discussion regarding resumption of operation of Jonglei Canal, which is an issue of concern to all of us. And I will stop here and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Mading. And also, I yield the microphone to Ustaz David Nhial. The floor is yours. Greet the people.
Yeah, I greet you all, and I say thank you to Isaac and the local state media for the opportunity and for your vital job that you've been doing for some time. And also for all our viewers who are going to hear our discussion today, the Clubhouse, and the rest of the world that are going to tune in. And it's very important discussion, and for the future good of our country. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to what's happening.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, David. Guys, all those our viewers, the topic is really very important. We know the biggest project ever in South Sudan in 1970s was Jonglei Canal. And Jonglei Canal during Abdelalia time, there was some issues that led to stop the project of digging Jonglei Canal. That was one of the strong things. The movement of SPLM, SPLA was fighting the war in South Sudan, in Sudan in general. That led to secession of the country. Now we have got the vice president in Radio Miraya talking about resumption of this project. Giving microphone to you, Ustaz Mading. The reason it was stopped before, is it fixed? Why was it stopped first in hand, and now they need to resume it? What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Microphone for you, Ustaz Mading.
Okay, thank you, Isaac, and thanks to our viewers. If you could allow me, before I answer this question, really to embark and give a historical background about where Jonglei Canal come to be one of the projects in South Sudan or in all Sudan, because I think the historical part is very important before we go really into deep. We know why the Egyptians that keen to start the operation of Jonglei Canal. Historically, the Jonglei Canal just came as one of the projects when Egypt in 1820, Muhammad Ali Pasha, when he decided to conquer Sudan during the Turkey-Egyptian colonization, one of the main reasons of conquering Sudan was Muhammad Ali Pasha would like to know the source of Nile River. And this source of Nile River, the reason was that Muhammad Ali Pasha decided to expand agriculture in Egypt, particularly in Delta area, which is the northern part of Egypt, by doing some very small dams in what we call them, some 3 dams small in that area in North Egypt, which is the Delta area. And when Egyptians start to do that, they know the only way of doing it is to secure the water from Nile River. And doing that, Muhammad Ali, when he died and his son Khidewi came to power, the first expedition was sent to Sudan, was that led by one of the British explorer who went up to Uganda in year 1863, Samuel Baker. He came to South Sudan until he went to Gondokoro. He proceeded up to Uganda. And he wrote a report about the Nile, the source of the Nile River. Although he could not, Samuel Baker could not go through Blue Nile to Lake Tana. He went back and he wrote the report. And that report was pending with Egyptian government. Unfortunately, the Mahdi's revolution dislodged the Turkey-Egyptian government in Sudan. And then in 1881-82, and then the Mahdis, they start to rule the country. But one thing which is very interesting is when the British came back with Anglo-Egyptian government in Sudan, which started in 1899. After the Egypt conquered Sudan with British, Lord Cromer, who is the British governor of Egypt, he decided to send one of the senior engineers, which is Mr. William Gastian, to come and explore the Nile River and see the option of for Egypt to have more water resources in Sudan. And that happened in February 1899. William Gastian came to Sudan, and he started to work on that. He was a director of water and irrigation in Egypt. And this British engineer, when he came to Sudan, the reason is that the Egypt was thinking of the British. They were thinking that the Egypt should utilize Nile water to expand agriculture for their local consumption and also to have enough food. And the second thing was the British was planning to expand their product of garment in Lancashire in North Britain, and that they need really more water resources to get cotton, which is going to be used, and cotton was the main source of that at that time. William Gastian came to Sudan, and he went back with a report, and again he came back to Sudan, and he wrote a very lengthy report in 1904, and this report was the basic of one of the proposal is the use of water offset, which led to the concept of digging of Jonglei Canal. Other researches which came later in 1936 and 1954 and 55, they were based on William Garcian research about the Nile River. And I think that was the reason why the Egyptians are very keen to make sure that they have access to enough water. You know that the entire 100 million Egyptian population depend on Nile water as a source of their production, particularly the farming, because 95% of the population live along the Nile River, and 5% only live in other part of the country. And Egypt has been using this, and although Egypt is using Sudan from time to time as a proxy to sign agreement on behalf of Sudan and Egypt, and they call this agreement as Nile River agreements. The first agreement was 1902, the second was 1929, the third was 1959. In all this agreement, Egypt is the one that getting the lion's share of water, and we could see that Egypt has given itself 55.5 billion cubic water, and they gave Sudan 18.5 billion cubic water. The 18.5 billion cubic water of Sudan is not being utilized by whole Sudan. And in South Sudan, we don't use the irrigation except in some few parts in Reng, which is very limited. But all this, our quota, the Egypt is getting it free of charge since 1959. And in fact, in 6 of July 6, 1984, the Egypt and Sudan signed an agreement which led to starting of the Jonglei Canal, and was signed by General Nimeri and the Egyptian government by Sadat at that time. And the reason for that is for Egypt to get more water from Nile River. And this led to political unrest in South Sudan. And all of you might have heard that during the autonomous government in South Sudan, led by His Excellency, the Vice President of Sudan at that time, and the President of South Sudan autonomous government, His Excellency Maulana Bilalier. That time, the people of South Sudan, they reject this project of Jonglei Canal because this project was not based on interest of people of South Sudan. It was based on interest of Sudan, and particularly the northern part of Sudan and Egypt. And therefore, the communities in those areas, they protest, and intellectual and student they protest. And I do recall that time during those protests, 3 people were killed all over South Sudan, and some schools were closed, and there was political unrest. Although some of these politicians, they made very reckless views about this issue. But the people of South Sudan, they were very lucky enough when this project started and reached almost 80% without any guarantees for the people of those areas which are going to be affected. And in fact, the set area which we are talking about is 30,000 square kilometer, which is really cover a large part of Jonglei State and some part of Unity State and some part of Lake State, which is the Shambe Lake and other part of Lake State, our lakes we have, and some part of Warabi State. Is a very huge and vast area where all pastoralists, they go there from time to time with their old cattle and settle there for the period of when there's a drought in other part of and also is a source of food, for example, the fishing. And also we have our animals, they move from Puma National Park to this area during the summer or during the drought, and these millions of animals, they depend on this said area, plus a lot of resources which are on that area. It is a national issue which could affect all the South Sudanese people, and it is not that an issue, very simple issue. The SPLA, the first one of their first major operations was to shut down the operation of Jonglei Canal, which was led by a French company, and that French company, they were forced and they were dislodged from that area. And the late Joseph Budua, who was the Secretary of Foreign Relations in SPLM at that time, he wrote a letter to French to leave the area. And in fact, the French left the area, not because quite by their will, but they were forced out by the SPLA forces to leave that area because Jonglei Canal was one of the reasons South Sudanese were not happy with the regime in Khartoum, plus other reasons, which is including the oil and the way the country was run. And now we start to hear from some of politicians and leading figures within our government. For example, the union minister, who is of foreign ministry, His Excellency Deng Dao, he made a remark recently about the flooding in Jonglei State and how people can go back to resume the operation. And that was not taken seriously, but His Excellency, the Vice President Taban Deng, he made the remarks that the Egyptians are going to resume the operation of digging Jonglei Canal. At the same time, we have seen the schedule travel of Manoa Peter Garquat, who is the Minister of Irrigation in South Sudan, several times going up and down between Egypt and Juba. And we don't know, as people of South Sudan, what that agreement going on. And we have seen His Excellency the President also went to Egypt. And all these things have been happening behind the scenes without people of South Sudan who knows exactly what is going on. And I believe, when I come back to your question, Isaac, I believe the reason in which that the SPLA and SPLM and South Sudanese, the protests against this Jonglei Canal, they are not being addressed. And there's no any studies being done, and there is no any project being done regarding this. There's no anything to address the economic impact and environmental impact, and also the issues related to social fabric of the people and security situation which may faced by these pastoralist communities which live there if the canal is done, and also the wild animal which move from time to time to that area. Plus also this area is being marked by United Nations as one of the biggest swamp in the world, which is a protected areas, heritage area, which provide rain and other environmental benefits to part of Africa in general. And it's not an issue that can be dealt with that easily. And also we have seen in 2014, the Nile Basin Agreement, which has been signed by 8 countries of Nile River. That agreement is, which is being supported by South Sudan, although South Sudan did not join that group at that time. The South Sudan, some officials, they were against Nile Agreement of 1959, that in the same line with the Nile Basin countries which that signed the agreement. And this shows that South Sudan stands with those African countries which are on the Nile River Basin. And based on that, I think digging of this Jonglei Canal, and South Sudan with Egypt taking it by themselves without going back to Nile Basin countries is totally a violation also of agreements among the Nile Basin countries, because in a project on the Nile, there should be a consultation between all these countries, because there will be some impact. Those impacts, they may affect all the countries in the region, could be economic impact on those countries, could be political impact, geopolitics of those countries, could be affected by these issues related to the digging of Jonglei Canal, and also we may have hydrographics and hydrological and also ecological issues related to the water of this region, where we feel in South Sudan government should not take that decision. And also to make it very clear, with due respect to this government of the day in Juba, this government was formed based on revitalized peace agreement, which there is a task for this government of national unity, is that to implement the peace, is not to embark in the national issues which need elected government by the people of South Sudan after 2023, if there's election, and the parliament which is being elected, not the parliament being appointed, because these people, politicians, they should go out there and do the campaign that they want to start the resumption of digging of the Jonglei Canal. And we see the opinion of the people of South Sudan in regard to this. These are very few things which I would like to mention. And if there's a chance later, I will come back. And this is historical background. And that's the reason why I do feel really the resumption of Jonglei Canal is not for the future of the people of South Sudan. And when we come to issues of flooding in Jonglei area and other part of South Sudan later, I will talk about those things later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Nhial, for the remarks you made and the historical background that you have given to our audience. The same questions is going to David Jog as well. He has to, on your prospective view, the floor is yours to unmute yourself. Yep. Welcome to Lagos State Media. No, then unmute yourself, David. You muted yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mading, for fantastic analysis and an historical background about the Jonglei Canal. I think Jonglei Canal started when many of us was not born, particularly myself. And based on the historical and the fact that we all learned about Jonglei Canal, and most of the SPLM veteran was talking about the consequences of why they did not allow the Jonglei Canal to proceed. Based on the historical, when Sir William Garcia came in 19, proposed in 1907, and then so that they just have a plan that they should dig a Jonglei Canal so that it will benefit them. By then, the Afanal was in one state. By that time, there was no two state, what we call Jonglei and Apanal. We were all in Apanal. Based on my knowledge that I gathering from my late uncle, who was by then an MP that represented the Eastern Jikanyur, Peter Lammuth, who also protest and call all the MP. By then he called all the MP from the states and rallied them behind that this proposal should not go. And if you look about the studies that Peter Manao Garkwat was represented recently in Egypt, it was the consequences that are happening within Canal. Deng Dao came out of frustration. That's how I call him. When he proposed that, I think he came out of frustration about his people being displaced every now and then by the flooding in the area. And in a clubhouse, there's a lot of discussions, but those discussions should not be put as the purpose. There's a lot of studies that has been done by a lot of scholars about the consequences of Jonglei Canal. John Garang has done, even Francis Mading has done some studies. Atem Yak has done some study about the Jonglei Canal as well. We talk about it. What are the cause of the war? And if you look at it carefully, John Garang was having a vision that when you talk about taking the country, taking the city of capital city of Southern Sudan to Ramchal, and if you look into that proposals, it has to capture that if there's any proposal coming up later, where is the Jonglei Canal, the stream that was coming, and that is whereby I has to take you back. This one came from the river of the Ethiopian, and then when the river came, and then he has to come and then enter into the Fanyogor in the middle. That is where the swarming area started. And then there's three streams. There's one called Tarir. There's one that comes from Ethiopia called Barakobo. And then Barakobo will go, and then we'll head into Jonglei. And then again, they will meet with Wild Nile in a place called Dolef Hill, you know? And this is what a lot of people were just confusing, that they don't like the Jonglei Canal to be deep, okay? So if you've seen about our Sobat River, because the other side of the Sobat, it just came and then it will head into Malakal, and then Malakal, and then it will just go further. And then it will just go and meet with the Y Nile. And then Y Nile, the water will go through Egypt. And I think that Egypt also will benefit from those water. Now, what makes it harder is because of the Ethiopian dam. And then now the Egypt has to work hard to pursue us with the Southerners to start digging the Jonglei Canal, because they will get less water. And then in 21st century, there has to be bribe. The politicians has to be bribed in case. in my personal point of view, if you look at it in Jonglei Canal, we are the young nation. We need irrigation. For example, if we move into the Remshell, it's a capital city, we need the electrical dam within those areas. And we have to dig our own dam to keep our water and put them into the good places whereby we can utilize them in the future. And now, if our politicians try to do it, it will not happen, because even the host community are not happy about digging, about reconstruction of Jonglei Canal again. We, the people in Upper Nile, we have a less water from Sobat River, you know, and when the Sobat River flow, and then during the rainy season, we will have a lot of water. So we should not use them. That we should so that we have a lot of water that we can reconstruct the Jonglei Canal, because of frustration, because of the displacement of people of Jonglei, particularly people of Bor. We have a lot of desert that need water, like Sahara Tigling. We could even channel those water to Sahara Tigling, and then Sahara Tigling should be built. Even the mining area in Buma, in other places, they need water. In anything that need water in southern Sudan, we should not open it again because of frustration. And I call it frustration because people were displaced, and then the host community moved into the Equatorial, and then they just stay there. They not feel happy. They want to go back, and then they thought that the solution is for them to dig the Jonglei Canal so that they can go back to their area. So I don't buy the proposal that was put in by first by President Taban Dengai and Deng Dao. And this is my knowledge that many of our people disagree with digging of Jonglei Canal again, because the waters are the source of everything, even the sewage. We need the water for the sewage, but if we sell our water, how are we going? Why do we call that we are a food basket in East African? If we want to be a food basket, then we need to have a water for our irrigation and for our consumption use. So that's what I can say, Isaac, and this is what my knowledge is.
All right. Thank you so much, David. We'll come back to you again later. My colleague, Majok, will take I yield microphone to you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Permit me to submit the appreciation to the panelists, especially our main speakers, Ustaz Nhial, David Jock Nhial. Thank you so much for creating this time to come and speak in regard to Jonglei Canal resumption project. Ustaz, you have actually explored a lot of historical backgrounds on how this Jonglei Canal project came into being. And I'm glad that you have stated it clearly that the project was not meant to meet the interests of South Sudanese. And that is very true. You also stated clearly that according to opinions, you urge the government to conduct consultative approach to the people of South Sudan, and also explore what are the possible outcome of this project that is due to be implemented, as it was announced by the Vice President, His Excellency Taban Dengai. According to your opinions, Ustaz Mading, do you think this Jonglei Canal project, is it an urgent issue to rescue the flood disaster that is affecting the entire country, especially Jonglei or Upper Nile region. Was it the main reason why the vice president came out with this idea of resumption of Jonglei Canal, or was it a political move? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Majuk, for this very vital question about why at this time now our government of South Sudan decided to give a green light for resumption of digging of Jonglei Canal. There are so many question marks in regard to this. First of all, I will take geopolitical situation of the region and what could be the impact of that inside decisions being taken. You have maybe followed the dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt regarding the dam, which is going on now, construction in Blue Nile. And Egyptians, they tried to stop this dam, but it seems it's too late at the moment for the Egyptian to do anything regarding to it. The Ethiopian, they have already finished more than 40% of the project, and they're working now really to provide electricity to local, and also we in South Sudan, we may be one of the beneficiaries of that project. By the way, the 86% of water of Nile come from Blue Nile, which is going to Egypt, in which that Egyptians are very disturbed much about this project in Ethiopia, and they try to stop it. But the paradox is that Egypt and Sudan, they refuse to sign the agreement to be members of Nile Basin. And Egypt is requesting from from Ethiopia to provide information about the ongoing project. And Ethiopian, they turn it down due to the reason that Egypt is not a member and we cannot share information with you while you refuse to sign agreement and KB agreement of 2014. And that's one of the reasons of discussion between these countries. Now, Egypt is looking for other source of water. And one of the source of this water is Jonglei Canal. In fact, most people maybe don't know exactly what this canal means. Is it really one thing's project or more than one project? In fact, these projects are more than one project. There is Jonglei Canal 1, Jonglei Canal 2, there is Sobat, and there is Bahr Ghazal Canal. These are 4 projects on Egyptian pipelines. They start with the first one, with Jonglei Canal, and is one of the smallest projects that will provide 4 billion cubic water. The Sobat provide 4.5 billion cubic water. The Bahr Ghazal provide, which is New River and other rivers in Bahr Ghazal, they provide 5 million cubic of water. And the total, all of this of this project should be 20 billion cubic of water goes to Egypt. And the said area, there is more than 35 to 30 billions of water every year in that area. And if these proposed projects are really implemented, it means that we are going to lose all this water to Egypt, free of charge, without anything. And one thing Egypt has already done, Egypt has already, which is total violation to rivers agreement, international rivers agreements, which Egypt, they already have a canal going to Sinai in Egypt. Sinai is outside the Nile Basin River. And this canal now, they use 4.5 billion cubic of water for irrigation in that area. And in 1978, the late president of Egypt, which is Sadat, he went to Haifa and Israel when they signed the agreement between Egypt and Israel. And they promised and they agreed with Israelis that we are going to give you water from Nile River. Egypt is not even thinking of using this water for itself. It's going even to sell this water to other countries, in which that we are not beneficiaries of this water. And if Egypt wants to use the water of Nile, there's so many alternatives. They have so areas in western Sahara of Egypt, the western part of Egypt. There are so many oases there full of water. They can use those water for irrigation, but they don't want to use this water. They use our water free of charge. Therefore, when the flooding happens, and this is the main question now we, the South Sudanese, asking ourselves, what prompts Uganda to open their own dams towards South Sudan at this stage? Is it the pre-planned things, or is it something else? In Uganda, there are so many dams. There are more than 3 dams in Uganda. River 1 has been built on the river which is going to Victoria Lakes. There is studies being done environmentally that the Lake State, the Lake Victoria has gone up by 1.5 meter from the zone, which is not bad. That cannot really prompt the country like Uganda to open it, because the Lake Victoria is a source of fishery in these 3 countries we share, which is Tanzania and Uganda and Kenya. They share Lake Victoria. That's the thing. And also there are so many projects. Why at this stage now, the Ugandans open the water to go to South Sudan and do flooding? This brings us back to one of the things which happened really, and paradoxically, when President of Congo, Kabila, went to Egypt, and this is not from my side, this is from Ahmed Abul Gais. Ahmed Abul Gais, he was the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, and he became the head Secretary General of Arab League. He made it very clear when the Egyptians don't want Congolese to sign the Nile Basin Agreement of Entebbe Agreement. They don't want Congolese to sign, and Rwanda at that time. They know that Kabila liked motorbikes. They bought motorbikes to Kabila and gave him some gift. And Kabila came back to Congo, refused to sign the agreement. And we don't know what is happening between Egypt and Uganda. Nobody knows what is happening and why. The question we should ask Uganda, what is the reason now you are opening this Nile River water to go into South Sudan? If it is because of flooding in Uganda, I don't think there is a flooding in Uganda at this stage. And why don't Uganda regulate this operation? And one of the scenarios could be making this issue of water in South Sudan, Jonglei in particular, to be the issue of discussion of people of Jonglei and South Sudan in general, to create a notion that without resumption of Jonglei Canal, you are not going to have stability in those areas and your land will be flooded. And this is a very dangerous thing. From our side as South Sudanese, what is our studies? We can build our own dams to control the water. Why not? For example, the Numali Dam, why is not being implemented? There's so many studies being done by, is it my phone? There's so many studies being done by Dutch people to come up with projects which can really divert water of this Nile River or utilize the water of Nile River in those areas of Jonglei in a very scientific way, because we know Daesh is one of the countries which is under the sea level, and they manage the water, and they have experience in that. We can come up with studies and projects which really can help us to come up with this. Recently, Manoa went to Egypt, and Egyptian, they gave him some instrument to clean the river, the water, the Nile River, which is a good thing. That will make the flow of water to Egypt. That's a natural thing. We should embark in side projects which can protect our environment, can protect our economy, can protect our communities in those areas. Rather, we just jam and dig the canal without even a proper studies being done, and we don't know the consequences. These consequences may take hundreds of years, and we may lose. Our generation may not have the resources, the water resources, and it will be too late for us to come back and say, we have done a mistake. First of all, as all of us we know today in the world population is increasing. And by the way, South Sudan is not going to be an industrial country in 100 years or 200 years like Japan or like America. That's not going to happen. That may take maybe 600 years to reach that standard of America or Japan. But the only way we can reach that standard in 2 ways. South Sudan could be a big agriculture country and provide food in so many ways to different countries by using this water of Nile River and said area. That can put us economically in one of the best countries in the world. Also, the tourism, we can use this because we have wildlife in those areas of Boma and other places, and they depend on this water of Nile, of Set. And if we dig this, we are going to lose all these animals, and they may die. Even some of them, they may not survive in a Kobo desert, and some of them, they may even lose their own life. And South Sudan can use the service economy, which is tourism, and can use agriculture as the base of the economy, the modern economy for that. And South Sudan can come out from where it is now in 10 to 20 years, could be one of the strong countries in Africa economically by using this water. Now we are giving this water away to Egypt, and we are planning to give it away to Egypt. And by the way, one thing also many of us don't understand, or even we understood, is that how this town come to be. Like the towns on the river, did really we, the South Sudanese, are the people just came up with this town should be there. These towns were created by expedition of Samuel Baker. When they came there, they used these as stations for them to stop there, do some businesses and go. We did not do the entire studies about these areas, if they're the best places for the towns to be there. And by the way, this part of land grabbing, because the government took those land from the communities without even consulting those communities that we are going to have towns here or cities in these areas. And now we are facing problems. We have highland areas. Why don't we relocate people in highland areas and develop real sense towns and cities that based on that, rather than taking people and put them in Swami areas and say these are the towns and cities without any proper studies being done. There's so many ways we can help our people. And I think one of the young people who was the son of late Martin Magiro, who was the mayor of Bor, he did a lot of work in regard to this issue of flooding in Bor town. And there's so many studies being done by Dash and by some other houses, international houses. They can help this Bor town and can help people. The issue is a national issue. It's a national security issue for the whole entire South Sudan. It's not only Bor or only part of Jonglei only. It's affecting Unity State, affecting Lake State, affecting some part of Bahr Ghazal. It's going to affect the entire country, and it's going to affect the generation, economically, environmentally, ecologically, geopolitical, and also our relation with our brothers and sisters in other countries which are part of Nile Basin country. Therefore, taking such a decision without consultation with the people of South Sudan, and the government take that decision, which we don't know exactly why they took the decision now, the resumption on Jonglei Canal, we don't know exactly based on what studies, and is this issue being placed on the table on a specialized committee within the parliament to discuss and hire people, expertise all over the world to study this and see what will the benefit of people of South Sudan in regard to this issue. I don't think that is being done. Rather than just we had our officials, they travel from Juba to Egypt and come back, and Egypt come up recently with another dam near Wow, that for electricity and things like that, which we don't, I think we don't need those things. We can use other means of electricity in South Sudan. And Ethiopia is going to provide us with electricity. We can give them oil and they can provide us with electricity. There's so many ways South Sudan can be stable. But I myself, personally, I'm not against the issue of people should have dam and should have Jonglei Canal or not. But what is the national interest of people of South Sudan of this project? We don't want to reverse the issue of Halfa, the old Halfa in northern Sudan. When the General Aboud gave that land to Egypt to build a dam, which is now the biggest dam in that area, we destroyed the entire city with all the resources like agricultural land, the whole resources, natural resources in those areas. It's going to be opposite to us. We are going, okay, we can reduce the flooding, but we are going to create another disaster, which is environmental, ecological, and desertification in that area, and we are not going to have enough water. And the worst part of it, we are going to have is security issues between the communities which are living there, because those communities, they live there, and there are these pastoralists that are going to move from place to place looking for the water. And what do you expect from that? There's going to be a war between Dinka and Nuer, Dinka and Dinka, Nuer and Nuer, and so many of those countries, so those communities, they're going to clash on the grazing land without any reason, and the reason that because of the bad decision, the wrong decision we took at this time, it's going to affect us. And even for the agriculture, What will be the future of South Sudan agriculture if we lost all this water? We cannot depend on rainwater for agriculture only. That's not going to happen. We don't know environmental issues which are going to happen. You know how the things change in the world. This, I think, this project needs to be stopped totally, need to be given a time for the people of South Sudan to think about it, and let us look for other alternatives to address the issue of flooding in Jonglei and Unity State and Lake State areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Mading. You really touch a lot of points and a lot of issues, of which any South Sudanese could be in a position, possibly, to look into those. You have touched the questions of what happened to Uganda. Why did Uganda open water, and that water disadvantaged the neighboring state of Uganda, and that is South Sudan, through floods in that region and those states along the Nile. If I may ask a follow-up question, in regard to foreign policies, do you think this project that need to be resumed, will it have an effect in regard to our policies or our relations with Egypt and our relations with Ethiopia? And I remember very well recently, there was a conflict of interest between Egypt and Ethiopia. According to your own opinions, do you think this project will neutralize the conflict of the two sisterly states or the neighboring state of the country of South Sudan, or will it even increase it more? Ustaz Madi?
Yeah, thank you very much. See, this is bringing us back to 2014 Entebbe Agreement of Nile Basin countries, where Egypt and Sudan are not signatories.
Come to you, Danny.
Yes. What is going to happen? That's not going to solve the issue of Nile River, the conflict between Egypt and Ethiopia. But the Egypt now is looking for other ways of getting water. One of those soft targets is South Sudan, where they can really monopolize the politics there, and they can cheat the people like what they did in Alpha in Sudan before. And another project of the Egyptian is the Congo River project, which they were planning to dig a canal to South Sudan, to Narjur, and then they can get more water. And that could be a big project, but that project is not really, it's under studies. That could provide millions of tons of water, cubic water to Egypt, but that's still under studies. But politically, it's going to create a lot of problems. What is going to happen? Because now we know the population explosion in East Africa, like Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, in another 10 to 15 years, they're going to use this water of Nile. And we don't know what is going to be the impact of that on other countries. And if we start to behave like this as South Sudan, and we know that the source of Nile water is coming from Lake Victoria, if these countries really start to think of utilizing Lake Victoria water without consultation of South Sudan, because also we will be affected by these countries using this water. And anytime they can tell us, okay, why do you protest South Sudan that you don't have water from Lake Victoria, while you yourself went and sign agreement or reach an agreement with Egypt in Jonglei Canal without consultation of Nile Basin countries? That will put us in a very weak position in future. That's why it should have been very important if there's any project like this in Jonglei Canal to be resumed. That time there was no Nile Basin countries agreement, but now there's Nile Basin countries agreement, which is the Entebbe Agreement of 2014. We need to consult the Nile River countries, which is Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Kenya, Uganda, and Congo, plus Ethiopia. They should be part of it. Also, there is a dam which is being done by Ethiopia, and they are even planning also to upgrade that dam on Sobat River. And if we behave like this, Ethiopia also can create a program for us in Sobat River to increase that dam, and can also, prevent water to come to South Sudan from Sobat River in different ways. There's so many things, that geopolitical issues, conflict issues here, in that we need to look into this in a very big picture, not only in our Egypt interest, We need to look for the South Sudan interest, plus the interest of all Basin countries, Nile Basin countries, including Egypt and other countries. And this is what we call cooperation on Nile River. We don't want what happened, for example, the Golan, the Israelis, they tried to control water of Jordan River, which is going to Jordan, and that's coming from Syrian Golan Heights, in which now affected Jordan. We don't want also to do what Turkey has been doing with Iraq. We don't want to do those things. We need, as 9 or 10 countries which are of Nile River Basin, we need to have that cooperation, in which that Egypt and Sudan, they don't want to sign that agreement to be part of it. And this is one of the paradox and one of the reasons now there is instability, and this could lead even to a war in the region. And we don't want these issues to happen like this. And now with the South Sudanese, we are giving water to Egypt. What are we benefiting from Egypt? This is the question. And we need from our government and officials to tell us, we are giving this water to Egypt based on this. And what are we going to benefit? Is it 400 scholarship of the student going to Egypt? That's the thing. Is it the few economic benefit we get from Egypt? I don't think that's worth that. If we take the 18.5 billion cubic water, which was between Sudan, which was the quarter of Sudan, in which the South Sudan can take 1/3 of that, which could be 4 billion cubic of water, which is going to Egypt free of charge. And we did ask Egyptians to pay for that. Why do we want to give them another 20 billion cubic meter of water free of charge to them? And the question is this: do we in South Sudan believe that water are natural resources? If we believe water are natural resources like oil, like any other natural resources, we should be very careful of giving out your natural resources without any benefits. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ustaz Mading. You really try to give sense to fellow South Sudanese to see the possibilities, the danger of this project, and how we value the water as South Sudan. We have this marriage of River Nile, of which our neighbor, that is Egypt, is benefiting a lot through this marriage, and yet we are not seeing it. To Brother Starley, Richard, you are welcome. We actually explore some of the questions, and since we are waiting for our brother to come back, Brother David, you will also have your input here before I go back to Ustaz Mading. Here we are talking about Jonglei Canal resumption, which was announced by His Excellency Gerald Tabandenga, the Vice President in charge of infrastructure and service cluster. Infrastructure cluster, actually. We are looking at what would the government thinking about for them to arrive to that conclusion that we have to resume Jonglei Canal instead of actually perfecting a Fola Dam, which is in Nimili. Why? What was the government thinking? Was it a political statement, or was it because of flood? Because flood has become a natural disaster, especially in the entire region of Upper Nile. What was their thinking here? Can you have your take?
Can you hear
You
me?
can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm a pastor, and I'm one of the guys that participate in the demonstration in Juba in 70s against the Jonglei Canal. 1984, I was in Jonglei Canal area itself. I saw with my own eyes the excavation of Jonglei Canal. And I've been doing research about Jonglei Canal for 5 years now. If you can give me chance to give more information, it will be helpful.
You have your time. You have your time, sir. You can take your time.
Okay. I'm not a politician. I'm a pastor. But I have a lot of good information that I want to give. Can I talk in Arabic?
Yeah, it's allowed. It's allowed.
Okay. I want you guys to listen to me. I want people of Southern Sudan to listen to me. Jonglei Canal project was designed by British engineer. The project is designed not for development issue in South Sudan, but they designed the project so that they can take 10 billion cubic meter of water from South Sudan to Egypt so that they can expand the land that they will cultivate cotton on it. This is the original of this project. So the project was not designed by Egyptians or designed by Northerners. The project is designed by British engineer. It's a colonialist project. Will not benefit us. And in 80s, John Gereng decided to stop this project. And when they come to Jonglei Canal, they find out that Egyptian has their ammunition there. They give to Sudanese government. They give this Dababa called Walid, which kill a lot of our people. But by the grace of God, so, our SPLA was unable to put an end to this project. So since then, Egyptians are finding ways so that they may resume the project. If the entire water that is coming out of Ethiopia was given to Egyptians, they will still ask for more and more and more. So if the project is finished, this 10 billion cubic meter of water will come from Sud area. I've been to Sud area for like 6 times. This 10 billion of water will destroy the entire cities that are in Upper Nile away. Malakal will be wiped away. Atar will be wiped away. Ilepil will be wiped away. Reng and all these places will be wiped away. Plus, we have every year like 1 million antelopes in Shambe National Park. They take a refuge here. This animal is our natural resources. They will all die. And we have like 9,000 elephants that will come and take refuge every year in Sud area. These animals will die. And we have like 20,000 gazelle that is coming from Mangala National Park, taking refuge in this area.
Pastor Stanley, your network is breaking down.
Yeah. So 10,000, 20,000 Mangala gazelle is coming from Mangala every year. This will go. So why Egyptian want this project badly? This is the root of it. Egyptian population is increasing by 2,600,000 every year. Egyptians have problem of population. They have shortage of water, like about 70 billion cubic meter of the water. So this is their problem. Right now, they are using the sewage water for irrigation. Sewage water for irrigation. They will provide this water in some areas, but from some areas the water is coming direct from toilet, from bathrooms, direct to the farms. As a result of that, half of Egyptians are sick right now. So they have a national security problem. And I've been listening to one of the Egyptians, which is responsible for Jonglei Canal project. He was saying that We will take the water from Jonglei Canal. We will take the water from Congo, even if it is against the international law, to save our people. So if Jonglei Canal, if they want to, the flood water which is happening right now, why is it happening right now? The flood water, this flood didn't happen like this before. Why is it happening now? We have to ask ourselves. Egyptians have given $20 billion to Kabila not to sign the Entebbe agreement so that they can take water from Congo River to through Wow, and then they will dig another river very close to our river Nile. They will take this water to Egypt. The amount of water that they're gonna take is like 6 times amount of the water that we have right now. So now the flood water that which is happening, which is putting pressure on the dam, on Jinja Dam in Uganda right now, it is because Egyptians are opening the river banks in Congo. They're expanding some places. So there is an increase in the water flow, which is coming from Congo towards Lake Victoria. That is why Ugandans are opening the water. So if we want to solve the problem of the flood in Jonglei, we have to build a dam south of Bor, and the problem will go. Because when we open, when we resume the Jonglei project, it's going to create a lot of problems. We're going to have continuous flood in Upper Nile. People will be displaced more than any time in the history, and there will be a lot of diseases, and then there will be communal problems among the people of Southern Sudan. So in future, if our population increase, like what Egyptian is facing right now, they are not going to be able to feed their people. Then from where we're going to find this water? And all fish that we have in Jonglei Canal area, this fish will go away. It is going to create problem. And we have tribes. I saw them by my own eyes. These tribes are very innocent. They don't have problem with anyone. They're living in the Sud area itself. They depend on fishing. So if the Jonglei Canal is dead, all this area is going to turn into desert. They're not going to have any source of income. Not only that, if the Jonglei Canal is dead, Lake State will not be Lake State anymore. 20% of the cow that Dinka people have will vanish in 20 years. And people are going to start fighting, Dinkas are going to start fighting themselves because there is no grace. And we are not going to have touch anymore. And according to the studies, some countries in Western Africa is not going to have a rain because of the result of the Jonglei. So it is so connected. So Egyptian government has been pressing the government of Southern Sudan for a long time, so that to resume this, because they need this 10 million. Okay, if they get this 10 billion, are they going to be satisfied? According to the studies that I did know, they have one of the engineers that are responsible for Congo River project. He said that we have designed 400 maps about expanding the river Nile, because we're going to bring the water from Congo River. They're going to bring 100 billion cubic meter of the water from Congo. And when they were asked, they said that we have already agreed with the Southern Sudanese tribes, and this new river, which is called Congo River, is going to be 1,000 meters wide, and it is going to be in the western side of the Nile. That is, and it is going to be, it's going to come through Wow area, and let a lot of areas in Baragazal. This water is going to destroy them. So the flood which we are having in Jonglei right now is coming from Congo. Egyptians are digging, expanding. That is why the water flow is just coming, and it's not going to stop very soon. Digging the canal is not the solution. Digging canal is not the solution. It's going to create more problems. Now, if our population increases in the future, from where we're going to get water? Okay, they say that according to Egyptians, they say that, oh, we're going to have agriculture in this area and it is going to benefit. No, the entire South Sudan is going to turn into the desert because a lot of rain that is falling in Sud area, in area where people are grazing, and in other parts of Southern Sudan is happening as a result of the evaporation of water from Sud area. And Sud area is not only the inhabitants for these wild animals, but fish used to migrate from other places to come and deliver fish in this. So we're going to lose a lot from this, and the climate is going to change, and people that are within this area, they're going to vanish. People that are in Adok, which is Taban Deng's place, these people, they're not going to be there anymore. So it's very devastating. So it is actually something that has been planned for a long time, and Egyptian cannot sell for us because they have signed an agreement with President Jafar and Nimeri and Sadat. When they resumed the project, they didn't ask anyone from Southern Sudan. They didn't ask anyone from Southern Sudan. But thank John Gereng decided to stop the project. And people that are against, one of the countries that are against Southern Sudan is Egypt. Egypt doesn't want Southern Sudan to be independent. He supplied a lot of weapons to kill us. And now when we have independent country, now we want to give water just for like this? No, it's not happening. So they're doing it maybe just to pay their bills. They're doing it because just they want to solve the Egyptian project. But now our country, Southern Sudan become a savior for Egypt. Egypt is not going to leave them because according to the studies that I did, they have a lot of projects within Sobat area. They want to dig some areas in Sobat area so that the Sobat water will run very fast. We run to Egypt. And they want to expand the Nile too, so that the water can run very, very, very fast to Egypt. So the project is not in the interest of Egypt. Egypt is not going to stop with Jonglei Canal. They knew that we want to build the dam. That is why they want to stop us from building the dam. They said that, oh, we're gonna build a Suwewe dam to you in Wow. Why are you building it for us? Why are you building it for us? So Egypt has a very devastating project for us. They're gonna create a lot of projects for us, and they say that when they bring the water from Congo, every 60 miles they're gonna have Egyptian irrigation station, and they have a plan of bringing 5 million Egyptian farmers to come and farm in South Sudan. And when they start farming in Southern Sudan, they say that we're going to divide the benefit of cultivating these lands with the South Sudanese government. And when they were asked that, you ask people that are the owners of the land, they said that no. They said that yes, we have already agreement with those tribes, which is not correct. They are lying. So this issue of Jonglei Canal is just the beginning of the disaster. They have projects settled already in Sobat. They have a Congo River. Now what is happening in Jonglei is happening as a result of Congo River, not climate change. No, it's not a climate change. They are digging there, and they don't want to tell us that they are digging there because Kabila already received the cash, and he said that let people do whatever they want to do. And right now, the Ugandan dam is in danger. That is why Uganda is opening all this water, and the water problem is going to increase in future. That is why we, as the people of Southern Sudan, we are not against the government. We are with the government, but we cannot solve Egyptian problem with problem because Egyptian president was talking to the minister of the health. He said that we have to reduce the population growth of Egyptian by 600,000 per year. We need Egyptian to deliver only 600,000 per year. Because right now, every year they're increasing by 2,600,000. And tomorrow, when we have stability in South Sudan, we're going to have more population. When we have more population, we're going to have the same problem with Egyptian, because we need more food. And in 1990, like this, Boutros Ghali, the Egyptian foreign minister, when they initiated him in the office of the Secretary General of United Nations, he said that the coming wars that is going to come, people are going to fight over water. And it's right. And about 25 books were written about the future conflicts in Africa. That all this conflict is going to come as a result of water. So this water is a resource that has been given to us by God. And especially for you guys,
this is a national security issue.
Yeah. Especially for you guys who are Nilotics. You cannot survive without water. You cannot play with the so-called water. Look at our people in Abyei. All these sufferings. It is because of the grass, because of water. Our people in Bentiu areas with those Arabs. So the culture of Dinka will vanish. I'm saying it here because God is speaking to me several times about it. Even show me the dreams. In the dream, the map. So the so-called Dinka will turn into people that have no cows, no more. Because some of the grass, which is in this area, is like a medicine for those cows. And the one keeping these cows. So some of the grass that the cows are eating in those areas will just vanish away. And then in the future, we'll not have animals there, we'll not have antelopes there, we'll not have all this kind of stuff there. And all these cows will not be there. And your culture will change totally. No one will marry with cows. So it is going to create a lot of problems. So why Egyptian doesn't want to sign the Entebbe agreement? It is because they have agreement with the Sudanese government in 1959 that this water, which is in Sud area, when they dig the Jonglei Canal, this water will go half for them and half for Sudanese, which is in the north. We are not going to benefit from this water at all. And instead, our people will die, and instead our cows will die, our elephants will die, our gazelles will die.
Okay.
So this is the other things. So that is why Kabila didn't sign, and they said that oh, people of Southern Sudan have already agreed for these projects. It is a shame for SPLA, because SPLA's best hits die with Egyptian weapons. So we have to start speaking about this. It's going to affect all the areas, the entire Barghazal, the entire Lake State. In one of the conferences conducted by one of the guys which is responsible for this project in Egypt, he brought the picture of our people in Barghazal during the famine time, which is dying, and he said that this is the picture of people that have no water will die like this. So this issue, we have to start doing everything for this project to be stopped now. Egyptian studied this project for a long time, and they have the machine. Right now they have a new machine. I saw the old machine, but they have the new machine that can keep this project in 6 months only. It's called water jet. 6 months only they will finish this project. And the promise, in the first place, the promise that when we finish this project, we're gonna do a lot of project, but they take like 260 60 miles. Almost 3/4 of the project is about to finish, and they didn't build a tukul to our people in these areas, in Sud area. So they're lying to us. There is no any benefit from us, but it's going to increase a lot of disasters to us here in Jonglei area here, and a lot of disaster in Upper Nile. So places like Malakal will be wiped away. Cities will be wiped away, and they will laugh. They will say that, you signed. So we as a people, we have to speak respectively. This project is not good. I'm a pastor. I'm not a politician. I'm talking because I have the moral obligation. In the 70s, we were there in the street, and we knew that the project is bad. And for the project to be resumed right now and at this time, for water to be given to Egypt, that is against us, against our separation from North, without anything. So for our people to die, for people to our resources to vanish like this, guys, this is not good project. And if people are there listening from people from our government, our advice is that you cannot shoot yourself in your feet. Nuer have cows, Denka have cows, Shuluk have cows. When you give this water and your area turn into a desert, what are you gonna have? Because some of our people, they depend on milk. Now it is like you just sentence your own people to death, especially people that are Nilotics. You're putting an end to yourself for what? If the Tabandeng said that it is okay for this project to go, you know, when Egyptians did this canal, the first place which is going to get affected is yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Stanley, this is Abraham.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
you speak very, you did put a lot of very good information. You know, Jonglei Canal, yeah, everybody, me too, I'm against it. Because, you know, I was in Kakuma for 10 years.
Yes.
And we all know the Rift Valley province.
Yes.
We see Turkana, if those people who were in Kakuma, they know the tribe called Turkana.
Yes.
In Rift Valley, right there. So there is a lot of stream like coal that are dry up. My understanding when I was there, I heard that place was a river by then. There was the water, there's the green, everything is good. But when the water was taken away by the government of Kenya, that area is dry up.
Yes.
That place turned into desert. There was no rain by then. When we arrived in that area in 1992 in Kakuma, that place was a desert. Only you can see how bad that area was. But thank God when we arrived there, like the rain started raining. And that thing we don't want to happen in South Sudan if they dig that Jonglei Canal. And this is one of the root cause of the war of 1983.
Yes.
And that's fought fighting with Arabs in the north. So I don't know why the government of South Sudan right now agree and sign that agreement to dig a Jonglei Canal. It's really it's not a good. My question to you, Pastor Stanley.
Yes.
You know, we have the issues of the cow now. You mentioned very good thing. If they dig in the Jonglei Canal, those cows will die out and everything. But there's another other part of argument. Like in Bor area, there's flooding. Has been flooded for the past 2 years.
Yes.
And those people who cattle keepers, they move away from Bor area and they come to Equatorial area, Highland. And now there's a conflict between the cattle keepers and the community in Eastern Equatoria and Central Equatoria. So my question to you, how can, if the Jonglei Canal will not be, we are against it now, and the flooding will still going to come in that area, how can these issues of between cattle keepers and community in Equatoria can be solved? If this flooding will keep coming?
Yes.
Because this connected with
Yes, you're right. I have two answers for you. The problem of the flood in Jonglei cannot be solved by digging canal, which will create more floods in Upper Nile. For us to stop floods from Jonglei Canal and Upper Nile area, we have to build our dam south of Bor area, That way, we will generate electricity from the dam, and people that get their land get affected by the building of the dam south of Bor has to benefit continuously from the money that is coming out of the electricity which is produced by the dams. We have to build the schools for them, hospitals for them, income continuously for them, non-stop, forever. This is number one. The issue of the cattle, which is happening right now. In our area, in our Moro area, during the fighting, John Gereng advised people from Boer area to go and reside in our Moro area. They were there. When they come there, their cattle is moving left and right. Then our people went and talked to them. They said that we are farmers. We don't want you to leave your cattle just here and there, but we're going to allocate certain places for you guys to stay and grass there and live with your animals. So the places were allocated. So those people from Bor, they stay there, they live there without causing problems to the locals of Moro. So there is an agreement. When the war is over, those people return from Moro area to the Bor area. Even the cows that used to be there, the cow will deliver baby twice per year in our area. So there should be agreement. Like that's what happened. Right now in the right now in Western Equatoria too, there is some cattle keepers. They used to come there. When they come there, they start moving around here and there, causing problems. Then the commissioner of that area called them. They said that we have farmers here. If you come as a guest. Come to us. We will allocate you. We will tell you where to go. So this problem which is happening in the side of the Eastern Equatoria and other parts which have conflicts now with the cattle keepers, this problem can be solved. If those cattle keepers come and went direct to the heads of the local communities and made agreement with them, say that, oh, we have a problem of flood, please can you give a place for us so that we can stay here till the issue of the flood is gone, issue of the Murle is gone, then we will go peacefully to our place. But according to some of the information that I'm getting, those cattle keepers, they will just come and they were armed and they will start just moving here and there and then settling wherever they are. And it is not good. So this because when you give a gun to a person that is illiterate, not educated, he will take the law in his hand. When the person have gun, like what is happening in Lake State, when everybody have gun, they will start shooting everybody, doing whatever they want. So if these cattle keepers came to the chiefs and talk with them, the issue will be solved. I saw some chiefs, and there is a guy called Mading War. He went and meet with those chiefs. He said that you guys, before you have a problems here, what is happening? They said that our only problem is our farms. These cattle sometimes move here and there, and we talk to them. They said, don't move here, don't move there. This is the only problem. We used to have these cows in Juba, in Tomping areas. They were there. They were not going into the farms and here and there. So if the problem is that if it is regulated in a good way, no one is against them. But to my experience, that these people are just going there because there is guns, and they will just you know, they will just cut the place for themselves. They will say that, oh, this land is for everybody. No. When people want to build John Gerang Memorial University in Bor, they ask the community to give them the land. So this issue could be solved within the communities, leaders from Bor themselves, or government can intervene and go and convince those communities by saying that, yeah, we have our brothers here from Bor. They have issues of the flood. Can you just give them a place? They will be given a place. I saw even people that moved from Bor because of the flood to Mangala, for instance. I saw here in the media, the people that are in charge in Mangala sit with them down and then you locate a certain places for them and tell them this is where you're going to be. And then when the flood is over, you can go back to your places. So now there is no problem in Mangala area. Why? Why there is no problem? Because there is agreement. So the issue of the land is a very sensitive issue. If a person come and then because they are arms and they just want to stay by force, and this is the problem. But if we just come into the terms of agreement, government can send their delegation, Dinka chiefs can sit together to talk with these local chiefs, they will stay. They will stay. The land is very big. But if the cows is just moving here and there, very sad. I saw one of the videos of the cows grazing in the house of the bishop of Kajikeji. Imagine.
All right. We have some questions coming from Clubhouse.
Yes.
Thank you for answering that question of Medit. Another question is coming from Alfonso Kenyi.
Yes.
From Clubhouse.
Yes.
Kenyi, can you unmute yourself? Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, anyway, I just joined in, but I would like to just to continue listening so that I can understand deeply what you actually guys talking about. But I can understand the title is talking about discussions about the resumption of the Jonglei Canal project.
Yeah.
Anyway, if that's the case, this is actually my case here is yes. If Jonglei Canal resumption will be the solution for the flooding of Bor or Jonglei area, let's go for it, you know. But before, when Mary introduced this Jonglei Canal, we opposed it because there was a policy that maybe is gonna drain water from the swamp area, and then that area would become dry, like the desertification of the area. That's why we human beings at the time we refused it or object of it. But now, if this is a situation right now, because now it's like causing Bor to be flooded, and then causing Boran to seek refuge somewhere, especially in Equatoria. It's in Equatoria. Okay, that's no problem. Yeah, I can agree now. Let's do that. Let's resume Jonglei. Because it will reduce the amount of water that will submerge.
So, California, let me get in very quick here. So you are supporting the digging of the Jonglei Canal because the Bor people they took their cattle into Victoria land. If the Jonglei Canal will be digging,
no,
water will go away and
no.
That's why no. That's what I'm hearing you saying.
Yes, sir. All I'm saying here is the solution to solve the problem of Jonglei flooding. That's a good idea. What's the problem here? What's the problem here? Because You cannot be subjected to, like running every season, taking refuge somewhere. But if you have a solution for that specific problem, why not? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you were right before you said you came late, but you got the topic. You understand what the people are discussing here. The speakers, they have already highlighted the advantages and disadvantages. The flood in Jonglei, maybe many people, they talk about it. Digging or resumption of Jonglei Canal project is not the solution. I think you have reached some of the word. That is not the solution. Will make it the worst. There are some bad of it. Bad side of it, there are so many disadvantages. It's still in the clubhouse. If there is anyone who want to ask a question, just raise your hand.
We have Pong Yang and Captain in the clubhouse and then committee and they are there.
Yes.
Okay.
Pong Yang, you can go ahead. Thank you, guys. This is not a surprise. This project has been going on now for 2 years. You guys see President Kir, Egypt, and you guys see Sisi always in Juba. And here, government has so much spokesperson when people say things. And then a spokesman of government in Western world, in Australia and Canada, they start intimidating people. Many people, they don't, when people say this, they're going to say it's a propaganda. But this is not a propaganda. It's a fact. Here is what I know for sure. If we allowed what to be taken to Egypt and people of South Sudan are starving to death, no food, why we don't dig those canal out into dry area so we can have our own agriculture? Jonglei will do that. But this government of President Kir, it's very soon, plan is on the way, but you're going to see what's going to happen. You're going to see when Canal Jonglei was big, was stopped through bloodshed into SPLA, and now we resume again. And government always sign the canal, he don't stay in power. That's what happened to Numeri. So President Kir might sign himself out. But I'm for sure this canal would not proceed. Mark my word. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Tong Jang. But only if you are there, you can go ahead and then the commission and come. Right.
Okay. Yes, I'll pick from what Tong Jang has said. I came in and I've listened. And first, let me register my point that yes, this Jonglei Canal is not going to go ahead. And before I add more, here is what I want to say. I have listened to David, and I agree with what, is it David, right? It was David, right?
No, it's Stanley, Pastor Stanley.
Pastor Stanley?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Okay. Then you can go ahead.
No, I'm already here, Madip.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can I interject?
Let me finish. I have heard what Pastor David has said. And first of all, I would want to say that I was the first person who hosted a show about Jonglei Canal, I think 1 month ago. And the reason is this. We in our county, I'm from Bali County, we had paid a serious flood last year. So we tried to mobilize ourselves in the county. I was one of the people that actually spearheaded the campaign. I mobilized some of the people, I mobilized all the chiefs, and I told them, look, we have got this flooding issue, and it seems like this flood issue is not going to end. What can we do? So there were some options that were put in place. Some of the options were like digging up some small swamp. We call it we all call it a wolf in Dinka language. Well, we book away or the other word is wrong. We book away. Maybe many are wrong so that we can reduce the flooding in our area within my county. But the most modern option that people come up with Jonglei Canal. So I was tasked to go and do some more research before we could go and take it to the parliament in Upper Nile in Malakal. So I approached Honorable Joshua Danadil because he's one of the people that have actually campaigned in 70s, in 60s against Jonglei Canal when he was in Juba. I approached him and said, I want you to come and do a presentation so that we can come and know what are the advantages and disadvantages of Jonglei Canal. He told me that I'm not going to say anything now because I wrote some article against Jonglei Canal, but I'll recommend you someone that will come and talk. So he recommended a guy by name Dr. Deng Majuk. He's actually in America. And I talked to Dr. Deng Majuk. He agreed to come and do a presentation together with Honorable Joshua Dardi. They all came to political space. We hosted a show, or we hosted a room, and they have told us more of what we need to know. I took that information, summarized it, presented on my county level, because we were just mobilizing at county level. And we are planning, like, after we mobilize from county level, we'll go to a state, which is Upper Nile. Then from Upper Nile, we can move it through our MPs now to Juba. So when we went on and we do more research, I came across this UNESCO program. They have marked Sud Swamp as a World Heritage Place. And one of the key things they have mentioned is what Pastor David has just said, of which that was the main thing I stopped as one of the people that was campaigning for that. They talk about environmental damages. And that environmental damages, according to UNESCO, as those who have marked Sud Swamp as part of World Heritage, they have stated that some of the population in Upper Nile, even in Jonglei, will not exist if this project go on, simply because of the environmental damage. Animal will go, because you know people, we depend on water, we depend on fish, we depend on grass, special us from Mongolwaliak, we eat a lot of grass, but those who are growing from the same water. So if you look at all the environmental damage, you'll come to the point where it will not even exist, like the way Pastor put it. And I came to realize, oh, there's no point for us to commit the suicide just because of wanting to control the flooding when it's going to eradicate us. So we decided to stop, and we are now campaigning, as one of the people that was campaigning for Jonglei Canal to be resumed. I'm now campaigning against it. Why? Because there's more damage to it than what we should solve. So yes, I agree with those who say Jonglei Canal should not go ahead, just like the way Song Yang put it, just like the way Pastor has just elaborated. There will be a lot of animals that we will actually. Yes, hang on, brother, hang on. I'm coming to your point. So there will be a lot of environmental damage, and I will actually send you, Madid, I'll send you the website for UNESCO. You can share it here in the room so that people can read how they have marked Sud Swamp as part of the World Heritage, and they are using it for protection. As far as West Africa will be affected, if there's anything that is going to be done on Sud Swamp. I'm not talking about Egypt. Egypt will already be gone because it's part of the people that will also go alongside with us in Upper Nile as well as part of Jonglei. Now, coming back to this point of Elfon, if you have watched the news, the second group of Boer cattle keepers moved out yesterday. The first group that moved out was attacked, right? And that's when there was killing last time. The second group have moved out. If you are watching the news, Boer are moving out. So if you guys really want Boer to move out, stop attacking them. And it's not about, you have to do Jonglei Canal project so that Boer can go back. No, Boer are going back already, and they have started to move out. So there is first stage, second trip is already on, and there will be third, fourth, and after 1 month, 2 months, you no longer talk about cattle keeping. And your problem will actually be seen physically, because we all know your problem is not about cattle keeping. The problem is just about you don't need Dinka. Any Dinka residing there. You just want them to move out so that you become independent, control yourself. That's the main thing. But it's not going to work. So thank you. My question to Pastor, now that you have heard government saying that they want to resume it, what is it that needs to be done to stop the government? That is my question. because together with UNESCO, we might be knocked out. And you know the language of politics. They will just go, this government will just go and say, oh, there are South Sudanese that have just teamed up with foreigners, and they want foreigners to invade our country or control us in our country. You know all these languages, of which we will all be categorized in that form. So what is it that we should do that we can stop the government from going on with this project? It's a deadly project. I agree, and that's why I still fought for it, and it's really not fair. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hang on, phone you will come. Let me use microphone back to the speaker.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
For
I can hear you. Yeah. Thank you. Let Pastor Stanley answer the question. And now we will pick up also some question here in.
Isaac, unmute yourself. You are mute in Clubhouse.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm saying that I will yield back microphone to Pastor Stanley to answer that question. And also we have some few questions here in StreamYard as well. And then we will go back to you in Clubhouse. Stanley, answer that question.
Yes. As a pastor, I have a respect for every person that is from South Sudan. And I have respect for government. Even though I disagree with some stuff. So we are telling our government that this project is not as the people of South Sudan and people that are in social media, they have to.
I mute him. I'm full, please. If you repeat it, then I'll move you down.
Go ahead, Stanley.
Yeah, as people of South Sudan, we have to address our government in a very respectful way, not insulting, not criticizing, with the facts, like environmental facts, the economic facts, and the social facts. Because if this project is resumed and is finished, it's going to create a lot of problems to us. In future, when we have our population increase, from where they're gonna get food, and when these cows and it's gonna create a lot of communal problems. So we want to address the government by saying that the benefits that we're gonna reap from the project is less than the disaster that is gonna happen. The disaster is gonna be big. If the Jonglei Canal was not resumed, it's not going to affect us. And instead, from this water, our people are having life. And these people that are living in this Sud area, they're one of the most peaceful people. They don't have problem with everybody. They're just taking care of the families and all this. So we have to speak to them. We have to say that, this need to be stopped. The Egyptians themselves, they have studied this project for more than 100 years. This project is more than 100 years now. This is not a new project. So we need to tell the Egyptians, we have to do our own study. We have to be agencies. We have to bring resource centers to study the project, and then we have to tell them that. I
was having an issue with my connection. Now I'm back.
All right, then no worries. Just hold on there. Go ahead, Stanley. Sorry.
So we have to speak to this government respectively. We're going to lose a lot. We're not going to have Southern Sudan no more. A lot of that is going to happen, and especially you guys that are Nilotics. Some of you will vanish, and then your culture will vanish too. You see, we'll not have cows in Dinka land anymore. It's going to change the culture totally. People are going to kill themselves, and a lot of disease which we have never seen is gonna increase. So we have to speak. We have to continue talking about this project by addressing the government. Please stop this for our own benefit. We need this water. If they're talking about agriculture, You Egyptian cannot speak to talk about agriculture to us when you want to talk to take water. The areas, all the areas, going to turn into desert. And then from where you're going to bring the water? Because for Egyptian, they don't want us to use a single Nile water for irrigation. They want us to use the rainwater. Then if this canal is done, we are not going to have rain in many places. We're going to have hunger. We're going to have starvation, worse than the one that happened in Paradise. So we have to address them. We have to use every means in a very good way. It is a deal. It is something that maybe has been signed, because the Egyptian government has been pressing our government and all the leaders that are going to Egypt. Even I show in their TV, they're asking our presidents, when are we gonna resume this project? When are we gonna resume this project? Because the project is in their head. The water is ours. It is given to us by God. This is why we have these cows still today. These cows have no veterinary doctors. But because these cows are eating, throughout the year, during the drought season, they will go to church. You will not have church anymore. Even in some areas in Lake State, with all this situation, still the cattle herders are fighting over some grass land. I saw in some of the video they said that no, that grass land is better than this. This one is better than this. And some cattle herders want to move to better places, but they will be prevented by the community leaders. They said that no, here is the rule. So it's going to create a lot of problems for us. Why? And the bigger thing is that the entire South Sudan is going to be a desert. It's going to turn into desert. And Egyptians want to take this water so that they may cultivate in Sahara. And they want to bring another water from River Congo so that they can cultivate half of Sahara in Egypt. And then Egypt will be green, and then we will be desert. This is what we want.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I will allow one of the speakers also, Mading Wada, to answer the same question.
Okay. Thank you, Father Stanley. Thank you, David, and the panels and Clubhouse. In fact, I've exhausted most of these issues regarding the Jonglei Canal operation. I will just highlight very few things, and this is my position, and I made it very clear at the very beginning. As Egyptians, they depend on water, and the dependence on water will continue and will create problem in the region, not only in South Sudan, but in the Nile Basin countries. Egypt will continue to create instability, will support the rebellion in some countries, will support any malicious damage to some countries for the sake that they want to control Nile water. And that's their own. And it's been put by Greek historian Herodotus that Egypt is the gift of Nile. Yeah. It seems Egypt will not survive without Nile water, but there should be their own alternatives. For example, there are so many ways Egypt can benefit. Like we have countries where they don't have water, like the Nile water. For example, the Gulf countries, they distill the water from the sea and they use them. Like in Saudi Arabia, in Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, they don't have rivers, but they're surviving. Egypt also can work out the way they can survive. Although even Egypt also using this water, but still Egypt imports 60% of their wheat from Ukraine, Russia, and other countries. And also most of the food in Egypt also is imported from Brazil and other part of the world. Egypt can reach a cooperation with the Nile Basin countries to help in sustainable technology for these countries to produce food, and Egypt can export from them. And that would be a mutual benefit between all these countries, rather than Egypt want to use the water for its own benefit and deny the rest and other countries to vanish on the planet because they are very greedy enough to get water from us. They cooperate. What people are calling in Nile Basin agreements is a level of cooperation between these countries. We can come up with projects shared by all these countries for the benefit, for economic benefit, and that we can build economic base in the future, like economic group, like Nile Basin countries. They can have their own group of economic countries which can export and import and can cultivate, can exchange technology, can exchange a lot of things. This can be done rather than one country just want to take advantage and take water and leave the rest to fight their own way. That's not the solution. That's not the scientific solution. It's not the economic solution to problems of us. One thing is the problem, although the pastor put it very clearly, it's not a matter of you oppose the government and you support the government. This is a national security issue for the entire country. Whoever in the government in Juba, this is going to affect the people. And you are a government for the people. And whom are you going to rule? That the people. And you have to take the benefit and protect the people and communities. And that's the role of the government. In this case, there's no transparency. This government is not transparent enough to tell the people of South Sudan why do they take this action to give a green light for Egyptian to resume operation of Jonglei Canal. There is no any official who came up and tell us exactly what is going on at the moment. I'm going to answer a question about pastoralists and the people who are in Equatoria. No one can deny there's a problem. There's an existing problem in that place. We need to admit this problem has been existing for some years, and we need to come up and take responsibility as South Sudanese and look into this issue, how we are going to solve it. For example, these communities, there's a lack of communication between pastoralists and the communities who are called the owners of the land. When they move into those areas, there should be a coordination between the government of the state in Jonglei state and Eastern Equatoria on the level of the government, on the level of communities, on the level of the institutions to make sure this is going. There's a very simple thing which is happening, and nobody even asks himself as South Sudanese, why do Ombororo live from West Africa up to South Sudan and part of Sudan, and they live there and they don't have any problem with the communities? This is a very valid question, although we are not benefiting from their cattle, which come from Niger, and some from Cameroon, some from Chad. They reach into South Sudan, northern Baragazal, northern Upper Nile with their cattle. This tribe called Ombororo. And there was no conflict between them and those communities which are there. The issue between us is the understanding between these communities and understanding all of us as South Sudanese. One thing, these cattle which are there, they are national resources for the South Sudan. They are our national resources. We sell them, they can contribute in economy. We eat their meat, we use their milk. They can generate economy to the local people, and also they contribute in revenues of the country. The people who are cattle keepers should understand these communities which cultivate, what they cultivate, they are national resources. They could be sold in the market, we get food from them, they contribute in the economy of the country. Therefore, there's a mutual benefit between these communities in which that we can educate them and let them know exactly having both of them here is really showing that we coexist as communities within this country, and we can use the benefit of the cattle and the people who cultivate. We can use them, they can exchange their products, we can create a local economy, we can boom their economy, can change their life rather than we go and create problem among themselves. The other alternative is we have a very vast land. Even the administration can contact, for example, the administration in Bor can contact people in Yerul, in which that some of these cattle could be relocated in Tojin Yerul areas or in Rumbek areas and in any other part of Barghazal for time being until this problem is solved. And it happened when there's these skirmishes in Bor. Some people from Bor, they move and they stay in Aliab land. There's nothing wrong with that. These are the things need to be studied, you guys, and we can live as coexist, and we can live as communities in harmony and peace. But some individuals, they want to use this for political gain, which is really making it more worse and more difficult and create hatred among the communities unnecessary. These communities have been coexisting for hundreds of years in these lands, and there was no any problem of land grabbing. These issues are coming up now, and we know exactly where did we have gone wrong. And I think we could solve this problem. My last word is that this project of Jonglei Canal is not going to benefit people of South Sudan at this stage. And if we have a future plan for our country in which that we look agriculture is the base of economy of South Sudan, for another 300 years, we need to look into this water, treat this water as national resources, we preserve this water, look into other projects which can be, this water could be used for this project. For example, we have a lot of unemployment in South Sudan in which that youth are not employed, which create instability and security issues. Why don't we come up with some projects like Mangala Sugar Scheme, like Bor Sugar Scheme, like Malu Sugar Scheme, like a scheme in Western Equatoria, like the cotton and Zara. All they will need water. They will need water. They need a lot of water to be used for that. We can have even artificial lakes, like in Akoba area, where people really can change the life, and also the animal which move from season to season can get water there. There are so many things. In said area, there are resources which could be used to produce like the paper, to produce like cotton, other things. And this is very simple technology where the Chinese and Indians, they can contribute, and government can do. The dam could be one of the solutions. The canals, the local canals can be done also by people of South Sudan with the help of the government. All those things are there. All the solutions are there. Yeah, the only weakness is we
David, you need to pull on to log in. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
We don't have political will to look into other solutions. Mostly what we think, and that is the shortcut always. We in South Sudan always, unfortunately, we look for the shortcuts and the quick things. For example, when we get oil, we just look into money from oil. We did not think how we can invest this oil. When we think now about the problem of flooding in Jonglei area and Bahra Ghazal and Lake State and other parts, we think, oh, the Jonglei Canal should be taken as a solution. But we refuse ourselves to give ourselves a chance to do studies and come up with other solutions for us. And Egyptian, with the little help they give to South Sudan, we think that's everything. And mark my words, these Egyptians, they need our water, not because they love us. They never love us, and they will not love us at all. If they get this water tomorrow, you will not see them in South Sudan doing any project. And you could see what happened to Halfa. And where is the new Halfa Jadida today? In Sudan, is Egyptian did anything? That project for 45 million, which should be paid halfly between Sudan and Egypt to reallocate people of Halfa into Halfa Jadida. What happened? Egyptian only paid $8 million, and the rest was paid from the pocket of Sudan government, which was not enough to allocate that. What happened to the people of Halfa? Psychologically, mentally, they will move to a different environment, which is their not environment. The same thing is going to happen to our communities. They will be dislodged from their land. And one of the things that our brother talk about it, all these communities, if they don't have a land, if they don't have enough water, they will follow the Nile River towards Equatoria. Those who are in Jonglei and Lake State, they will go in that Equatoria, and that's not going to solve the problem of insecurity. It's going to create a more problem of security in those areas. These are the things that we need to look into it. This project must stop immediately and should not be allowed to continue. And this government should concentrate to implement peace agreement, not go to create another problem of Jonglei Canal. This agreement is the thing that we need to implement now in South Sudan for the peace to be there. Refugees should go back into their homeland. Those who are displaced people should go back to their homeland, and also plan for election and other things for the people of South Sudan. And then the legitimate government comes, and then they will decide exactly what will be done. And people of South Sudan, they will have a right to go for referendum in issue of this Jonglei Canal. Cannot be just decided by one vice president sitting in Juba, and because there's a flooding in his hometown, he need all this canal to be done. The national issues cannot be addressed based on emotion, cannot be addressed based on interests of individuals. These are national issues, need to be addressed on that national level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Mading. We'll go to David Jok to answer the same question. I think that having the network issue before, and the echo has started again on your side. So the question is, what can be done to convince the government to stop project? So that is the main question now. You can answer that.
Thank you, Brother Isaac, and Mading has already analyzed the consequences and the beneficials of the Jonglei Canal need to be stopped immediately. And I agree with him 100%. We should not take an interest of individual, and also the referendum should be the core value of that. If the government in Juba was so impressed and need to think about the 20 years to come or 50 years to come, because this Jonglei Canal was started before me and you and Isaac was not born. It was started in 1907, which means many of us was not born, and we're still talking about this question again. It will not go away very soon unless it's we, the people of Southern Sudan, put it to an end. The consequential about the irrigation, I think most of us, we has to do a research base, like the engineers, like the people who will be doing agriculture. What are the consequences? Because I really agree with those of both communities and Jonglei State. There's so many intellectual of them. We should know more about the consequentials. What are the benefits of the canal and what are the disadvantages of Jonglei Canal? Look, if we want to be a nation, we need a sewage. Even we need a refineries. When we have oil, where are we going to clean it? Now there's a pollution of the oil in Bentiu. And then this thing, everything need a water. And I think even the people sitting in Juba, and then they also need a sewage for their things, like for the toiletings and everything, and even like building the houses and everything. We need everything based on the water. And if you look about the Kenyan consequentials, there's Arol and Kamara Dam. Kenyan was very keen. They refused to let their water go to Nhial, and then the water that flow up from Uganda, from Mombasa, and then they just put them into the dam, the one that came from the mountain, like Masai Mara, like they just put those water, they just direct them into the dam that can help their country so that they can be a food basket, so that they will not have an issue of the food. And then now they have a sugar plantation. They have a farm coffee, like the tea coffee and the farming. And then again, if we want to be, one of the ministers was talking many years ago about the advantage of us having cattle. And cattle, we can export them to other countries. Okay, let's say we have a abattoir, because many of us in the Western world, they work in abattoir, like they work in the meat factories and other areas. But if you have those farms and then you have an abattoir, where are you going to get it? And then you have to have a water. And many politicians in Upper Nile back in the day, they put this one, they fight for it. Even many of them lost their position in Mohammed Jafar and Nimeri government. And then they went to the butchers, And again, when we have a conflict among ourselves, and then other people will enter it, they will use it as a tool, they will use it as a disadvantage. And then they will just come in. Look like what happened when we have some issues back in the day, and then our oil was open. And then again, now we have an issue ourselves. And then again, this issue came in again, Jonglei Canal. So that I think our neighbors are looking for us to have a problem. And when we have a problem, then they will use it. And then they will just say, look, if I help you, and then this is what you will get from me. So in a point blank, as Mading put it, many of us in now we can say yes, but in the long run, we will regret and we will say sorry for what we have done, and this is not the way that we should do it. Based on the cattle migration, even us, we the people in Upper Nile, we have Arab color. Those who came from the north, they came through Maban, and then they just go toward up to the Ethiopian border. And most of those areas, they are farmers. Those of Brun, they don't have cattle. And then during the dry season, in their area, they just come back here for their cattle to have a consumption, so that in a wet areas. And then during the dry season, during the summer, they go back to their area, because by that time, and then it will be a raining season in where they come from. Again, with us here with Anuak, they don't have cattle. And then the eastern part of the Nuer will go into their land, and then that's how they feed them up to Gambela areas. And then again, during the dry season, the low Nuer will migrate into the eastern Nuer area for their cattle survivors. And then during the winter, then they will go back to their country or to their region. And I think we need a mutual understanding between the Eastern Equatoria and the Dinka Board, that this will not cause a conflicts. That these people, when they come, they have to be told, okay, if it's the time for you to go back, you just bring your cattle here for consumption, so that if it's during rainy season, you have to go back to your country, you have to go back to your region. Sorry. And this is something that has to be done by the government. And also, again, if we have a water, we can even plant the grass for the cows. And then they will be having a consuming, like grass that will be taken into the farm. And then also they will not have an issue with the Equatorian. Again, if I come to the people in the national government at the moment, I think everyone try to get into, and also I think everyone try to get to somewhere. It's up to us. John Garang put it, I brought you the golden plate. It is up to you to break it or you keep it. That's point blank. It is up to us. We keep that golden plate or we break it. Neither we keep the Jonglei Canal or we break it. If we break it, we will be poor forever. It does not belong to Bor alone. If you look about it, if you look about the Jonglei Canal map, it comes from Barakoba, and then crossing the Jonglei, and then going into PG, and then going into the Cholok, until it reaches into the Wainal, because that area will be, even us from the other side of the Sobat, it would be a issue, because everyone will fight on the water, And as Mading and Pastor Footed, the culture is something that need to be maintained in a way that migration, even us, my grandfather, who is the founder father of Eastern Jikany Nuer, migrated from the Western Nuer to the eastern part of the Nuer land. So migration has happened when something happened. Many of us may migrate to Kenya. That's why we have Luo who migrated, and that's why we have Kalenjin. But at this time, we don't want this migration to be started because of something that we can prevent. Because this thing is something that can be prevented by us. If you've seen about the research that was done, when Southern Sudan get their independence, we are the youngest nation in the world, but we have a lot of intellectuals, a lot of PhD, a lot of master degrees, a lot of engineers, a lot of expertise. But we failed for one thing. We look into the power. We did not look into the consequences and how we can feed ourselves. This is where the problem is started now. Maybe someone can be given $1.5 billion or $1 trillion for Jonglei Canal to go. And then after that, he's serving the interests of the Egypt. And one of my uncle went to Morocco many years ago when they used to be in Upper Nile. And they discussed this Jonglei Canal with people in Morocco and other people in the other side of the Arab world, and they did not agree with it. Now we will be in a pressure because the Ethiopians are closing their waters, and then now, if we are not careful, this thing does not need a tribal line. It has to be affirmative. It has to be a national interest. Yes, it does not mean that I'm from where. This should be, all of us should protest. It has nothing to do with AK-47, or it has nothing to do, this is my cousin who is initiating the Jonglei Canal to be dig. It has to come up, all of us are the young people who are going to live for another decade. We have to stood up, and then let's discuss it in all our forum. That let us articulate, is it a political issues? Because politically will go. In politics, you can see Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. Now they become friends. You know, politics of today is about the interest. Maybe in those of in Juba, maybe if they have an interest, they will unite themselves and then fight or work against the canal. And that's why, as I stated earlier, our founder father, Dr. John Garang, has a vision for the capital city of Southern Sudan to be taken to Ramshell. And if you look at critically, where is Ramshell located? Ramshell is the center to everywhere. And then when we go to the Ramshell, there's no Juba River there. Where can we get the water to make the capital city run? Because the capital city need a lot of things to be done, you know, and therefore, and I think most of the engineers, this is where the expertise should come in. Those of civil engineers, those who have done agricultural, like the farm, you know, like those of people who went. Like I have one of the guy who is studying who is doing his PhD in Canberra. He's doing his PhD on Nile River, and if he has a chance to come, he should also come out and give us what is the disadvantage and advantage of it. And many of us are doing a lot of research, and our research are not utilized. Because if you do a research and your research is not utilized, it's baseless. What we need to do, we have to come up and then go into all the institutions. I know that is the country is a pajal. You may not be allowed to speak up, but you have a pen and paper, and then write about it, and then put it down, state the disadvantage and advantage of it, and then let the government take the lead. And from there, Brother Isaac, sorry, and I think that is a point blank here. We should not be arguing about it a lot. We should say, let us stop, let us urge our MPs in the parliament to act and to put a law and then debate it in the parliament. This is whereby things should be done at the moment, because we have how many MPs now in Southern Sudan? When they go there into the parliament, that's why we have opposition. They should argue that this thing should put into an end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. My co-host, Majuk, Secretary General of Lagos State.
Thank you so much, Chairman Isaac. Yeah, first of all, I'm really pleased and inspired by the wealthy, well-articulated and futuristic approach, which has been tabled before us by our panelists, especially Ustaz Madin, Abuna Stali Richard, and my brother David Jock. Yeah, thank you so much. And actually, we have a lot of challenges as South Sudan. If you just go on the ground and ask the normal citizen of that country, what do they need as per now? They will tell you that they don't even need Jonglei Canal. That's what they will tell you. The first thing they need is the agreement for the government to function, for them to have security, to cultivate as they used to be or to do. From there, the government can roll out the developmental project. But I don't know what government was thinking, but I agree with someone who said before that maybe our government is facing a lot of pressure. I remember that was Stalin, and also Mading mentioned it. Our government is facing pressure from Egypt. And if you look at it critically, South Sudan is standing at the weak point within this proxy war of Egypt and Ethiopia. We are nobody in that regard. The only thing our government have to do now is to pause all this project or anything regarding water, and they has to embark on political rearranging or arrangement of the country. Then from there later on, they will engage or renew things to do with the water, things to do with the dam project, especially the Jonglei Canal. I agree with most of the points being stated here. Number one, it is our collective responsibility as South Sudanese, especially the citizen. I'm so pleased with my brother David. He stated it clearly. It have nothing to do with the party or whoever you support. But this is the genuine concern of every citizen of that country. We may not feel the consequences as per this year, 2022, but in 2025 to 2030 to 2040, as the vision of South Sudan, we will feel a lot of consequences of that project that is about to be resumed. The first thing for us to do is to discuss this topic furthermore in a lot of forums. We also need our people to be sensitized and to have information, like the information you have fed us today are actually amazing. Number two, those who are doing research in regard to the Sud swamp areas, I urge you all to combine your effort, and then we write a concept paper, and this concept paper will be sent to the government of South Sudan, and it will see all the media houses in the country. This Jonglei Canal, even our government will have nothing to irritate about this, because this is a genuine concern and citizens have to speak. Another step is our parliament, which my brother mentioned. But the question is our parliament really doing what interest ought them to do? Now, since they were sworn in, they have been around the budget. And if you see them meandering around the budget, then know that it will take long for them to address the issues of concern or the issues of citizens. But still, we have that huge government or huge parliament of 550 MPs. We can still send that concept paper to the Speaker of the Assembly to see whether they can table it and discuss it and explore what are the challenges. And if possible, our government can hear the voice of reasoning, at least to pause such project for a while, and then embark on other things. The most important project they can embark on is a resumption of Numli, what they call a fallen down in Nimli. They can embark on that if they have money or if they have partners who can help them to implement it, or if the government think that to have dam or Jonglei Canal is the rightful things to do, then let them pause it for a while so that we can this muddy water, the mud can sink, then we can see water clearly where South Sudan stand at this critical time. That's what I can add, and we will allow it. We'll get it back to Clubhouse if there are 2 to 3 people to make a remark. Then we will give our panelists a parting shot, and we will wrap it up because we were actually targeting only 2 hours for this part 1 of the debate, and we will reschedule another bigger one, the mega one, of which all the panelists will be allowed 2 weeks prior to the debate so that they can do adequate research, and all our citizens have to turn up in a good number so that they can listen and also pose some of their questions as they ought to hear and as they ought to get the answers. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. I yield it back to my co-host, the chairperson of Lagos State Media, Isaac Tien. You can take the floor.
Thank you so much, Brother Majuk Makur. You really put it well. It's a well-articulated message that you have passed. Going to Clubhouse, Deng Kamis, as you heard, we are about to wrap up. If there are 1 or 2 people who have questions or need to say anything before we close, let them come in, please. Deng, I start with you, Deng Kamis.
Yes, it looks like someone here down here, and those who were here left.
Wait, hang on a second.
Device disconnected.
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, now hang on a second. Let me just do this. I don't know this. I was rang before. There was an interruption of connection.
Device paired.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's actually I and Julie that will add if we add, but it's good to let it go there.
What is going on here?
Do that work, they are good at it. So for myself, I have no question. Last time we discussed it with our brother Dr. Deng Chul and Stephen Liu. We went through this, and they're not. Some people were not certified. Only the comment that I can say, or I can tell my brother who was here earlier, who left. There's nothing to have to do with Dinka Bor cattle that being in the area. This issue is a national issue of South Sudan. Those are just seasonal cattle cattle keeper that went there for grazing because of flooding in the area, and they will go back to their homeland. There's no issue over there. And for your information, the pastor or brother, the guy who was actually trying to interrupt you is from Mondari. And Mondari and we, the people of Dinka Bor, there's no day or time or any year that will be separated, because we become a family. We are intermarried. We do our activities day and night. So why do you come here if the flooding is affecting some areas within Bor area? Then that means the Mundari sometimes they have the same flooding, even part of Lake State. this tribalism is actually taking us nowhere, but we have to deal with it. Thank you, and I appreciate your presentation. And let's keep update ourselves. Keep teaching the South Sudanese with lack of information. People will just pop up and say something they want to say without having an idea. Like what we are talking about here, the Jonglei Canal. I have no idea about it because I'm not an expert in that field. I can say I can't do anything. So only what I can tell you is to encourage you. If some of us have any connection that can pressure the government, so the government can work on it and hear the voice of the citizen, then we will make a change about Jonglei Canal instead of just arguing and have no idea how to fix it. So we don't have to be opposition of everything. We can be opposition of the citizen and opposition of the government at the same time. It will not save our life. Thank you, Brother Isaac, and our guest of tonight, and our brother Madin, and Majuk, Chodit, and our listeners down here and the viewers on Facebook. I appreciate you. But I saw somebody wrote there, it's called Ajang Biar. You want to be called. I don't know if you know how to get onto the forum there on Facebook. Isaac, I'll rest my case. I'll hear the mic back to Judith. Judith, if you are there, I'm not going to say more. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I am doing something, so I'll not say anything. I'll yield the mic back to Isaac. So Isaac, continue, please.
Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate your word. Then Kamis, regarding a young BR request, we have phase 2 coming. He just sent in his request, but
we cannot hear you, Isaac. Your voice is too low.
Okay, I'm saying thank you so much, guys. A young, we can call. We just send a link because this StreamYard is a Facebook that we can use to call. So I will give the floor to our guest speakers to wrap it up, 1 to 2 minutes each, and then we will close the show, and we will notify all of you again ahead of time, and we will reach out as well to the office of Vice President if we can get Secretary of Information such that to join the discussion in next time. So I will start with Ustaz David Jok, and then I will go to Abuna Stanley, and Ustaz Mading Nhial will close it up in the wrapping. So David, unmute yourself and continue. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank Lagos State Media for discussing the national issues, which is very important to and that concern all of us as the citizens of Southern Sudan, regardless of our ethnicities, our gender, our tribals, our clans. This is the thing that we need to discuss all the time. And again, I have to say thank you to the expertise of and Pastor for this opportunity, and the second host articulating all analyzing everything that we discussed today. Is something that need a lot of us to focus on. Let us take away from the war trauma, and let us come back into the national things that should take our future, because there's no permanent problem in any country. The war will start, and then the war will stop. When we start the war of SPLM, we didn't knew that it's going to stop, but now it has stopped. Let us get away from the traumatic disorder of these conflicts that is going on in Southern Sudan, Let people who are also talk about the conflict, let them continue. Let other people also who are expertise in other area go ahead and discuss the national issues like this critical discussion, this topic of Jonglei Canal. And let us also bring up all the things that are related to our future and for the future of our grandchildren. So we are the people who should start discussing them at the moment. And I say thank you to all the viewers from Southern Sudan, all over the world, wherever you are. I say thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. When you speak to Stanley, Buna, floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to thank Lake State for all the input and your honorable guests. I would like to say that this project is not a good project because if it is accomplished, South Sudan will not be South Sudan again. So let us stop this project. I'm gonna go now and just give me a link next time so that we can join hands together to talk about it in peaceful way. I hope that people in our government hear about it and take a right decision. Thank you very much. I will go now. Amen.
Thank you so much, Buna. Stanley Richard. Go to Ustaz.
Okay, thank you, our viewers. Thanks to Leg State Media for hosting today or tonight discussion in regard to Jonglei Canal. My views, you have heard about them, and what I think is the most important thing is let us continue to discuss national issues with honesty.
It's better now. Isaac, can you get closer to the speaker?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, he said that the voice is very low.
Is it? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Your voice is low. What happened to your speaker? I think it's your speaker, Isaac. If you can keep it closer to the mic.
Yeah, it's close, but somebody, if rings, it makes things getting.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Go ahead. Let him finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I will wind it up. Just my gratitude and thanks to Leg State Media and all the hosts and also those panels and the viewers in Clubhouse and wherever they are. My last word is that let us continue to engage in honest discussion of national issues. We should not take it personal, and the national issues don't need emotion. They need people really to be calm, and we think about the national interest of our people, our generation, and future generation, and our country. Also, the youth. My word to the youth is that let them engage in issues of national dialogue and issues of national interest, regardless of wherever you came from. We need to come together, regardless of the tribes and gender. But the most important thing is our country, is our future. There are a lot of challenges. We are a new nation, we're a new country. We will go through all these difficulties, and we know we have gone through very difficult time for the last 10 years since our independence. And I hope with the determination of the youth, determination of the people of South Sudan, we'll overcome all these things. Let us be very honest with our government officials, our legislators, and the rest. And we need our government to be more honest and give a chance to Parliament to decide and make a decision rather than only a vice president or few people in executive sitting down somewhere decide the future of the country. Thank you very much. Next time if there is any debate in this nation, I will be ready to be part of that debate. Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I will give my co-host to give us his closing as well.
Yeah, thank you. I will have no much to say rather than appreciations to our panelists. Thank you so much, Mr. David, Jonglei, Ustaz Madin, Nhial, and Abuna, Stali, Richard. You contributed adequately, and our listeners or our audience have actually benefited, and we too benefited from your discussions. And let's hope for the best. Next discussions will be more bigger than this, and we will even give at least 3 to 4 hours discussion. And as chairperson put it, we will reach out to the office of Vice President, His Excellency Vice President Tabandengai, if we can get someone from his office to come and tell us the version or their perspective on how they thought of this project. That is what will make our conversations meaningful next time. Thank you so much. May God be with you, and let's keep talking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Majuk, Makur, and Ustaz David, Jonglei, Ustaz Mading, Nhial, Abuna, Stanley. We thank you for your contribution. You really educated us today. Thank you. We will meet again with you and all our viewers in Facebook, in YouTube, and Clubhouse. We thank your attendance and you listen. We catch up again. We will advertise the next show 2 weeks ahead time, such that everybody will get prepared to make more research if you want to participate. Thank you. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in. God bless you all. Thank you.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that thing. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Panye doll, Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Panye doll, walk on your leg, Kankara, what I know watching. Oga leg, gear, pow, leg, Panda with ya, punchy America. Panye doll, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda Jiro, what ya be doll venting. Stand and punchy America, Panye doll, Pancho leg stand and punchy America, Panye doll, walk on your leg, Kankara, what I know watching, Oga leg, gear, pow, leg, Panda with ya, punchy America, Panye doll, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda Jiro, what ya be, doll venting.